Hi guys, thanks for visiting my channel Free Your Finance. My name's Gary and I talk about investing, property and savings. If this sounds of interest to you, please click the subscribe button below. So when I created this YouTube channel, I always had the idea that I'd like to have guests onto the show, so to speak. I'm really chuffed to say that today I have my first ever guest video. My plan is to continue having more guests onto the show that are at various points of their financial independence journey. If you may be interested in being on the show yourselves, please do get in touch with me. I'm looking for many more guests to get involved. You can either comment in the box below or message me on Instagram at FreeYourFinance. But for now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed recording it. So today we've got Dan joining us. We're going to be going through financial independence. I've got a few questions to go through with him. He's very kindly agreed to join us. So thanks for joining, Dan. Do you mind introducing yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, so as you said, like my name is Dan. So I'm in my mid-20s. Recently kind of just discovered this over the last 6 months, really. So very, very new to all of this sort of FI kind of stuff. By day to day, like my profession, I'm a quality engineer in the aerospace industry. So sort of quite into the detail and analysis and technical side of life. I like that kind of stuff. And I always had a keen interest in like investing, all that type of, I don't know, just economics, everything sort of. If it looks complicated, I like to sort of try and get involved and get stuck in where I can. So yeah, I mean, that's really sort of what led me to doing my channel and sort of, yeah, going down the different routes that I'm looking at the moment, which is, yeah, sort of money, investing, budgeting, all that kind of side of it.
Brilliant. And actually, can you give yourself a plug quickly for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I recently started a YouTube channel called Brain for Change. Just the whole concept of that being like change and improvement, something that like throughout my job has been a massive influence on me. And to be honest, I get a real kick for improving things, making things better for my life, for everyone's life, where possible. So yeah, I've started a YouTube channel. It's all about money. I want to take it traveling eventually. It's one of my sort of short-term goals, and personal development as well. So yeah, where I can improve things, that's really yeah, it's just something I just keep looking into, just keep progressing, trying to do better. So
I'm going to be linking Dan's YouTube channel in the description. I'm also going to get him to comment and I'm going to pin his comment. So please go and check out his channel. Yeah. But anyway, let's get cracking with the questions. So my first question for you is, what started your original interest in being financially independent?
So it's all sort of more or less originated from that goal that I spoke about traveling. So for me and my girlfriend, we have like set ourselves a goal in the next 2 years. We want to sort of break away and go traveling, just take a year out and explore the world, which probably is very cliche for anyone in their mid-20s or uni level or whatever at the moment. So yeah, that led me to sort of looking at saving. Obviously, you know, you're going to need money to support your life if you're going to take a year out of the working culture, as it were. And yeah, when I started saving, that started to introduce me to understanding banking a little bit more and the interest rates. And to be honest, it was just kind of like baffling, like how you work so much and you spend so much time trying to get all this money together. And then I was looking at like things like the rate of inflation and just how that chews away at like all your savings. And yeah, so that really sort of sparked an interest in me of like, right, well, what can I do to really make something of it rather than just watching it fade away? Yeah. You know, the rate of inflation is like 2.3%, something like that last time I looked, on an annual basis. And then like the best sort of interest I was getting on was like 0.1%, or just horrendous. So yeah, that's what really sort of sparked my initial interest into it. I said I had a background interest in sort of economics and investing from a very young age anyway, but I never really understood anything about it. So yeah, that kicked me to the library about December last year. I decided, right, I said I want to have a look at things. Started looking at stocks and shares being sort of like the very cliche investing tool and the FI tool. And yeah, from there it all sort of sparked from that. I mean, I've had like a company investing scheme as well. I sort of signed up for it, having no clue what I signed up for, buying shares in my company and. I said not my company, but the company I work for, sorry. And yeah, led me down that road of like, I know about it, but I don't know enough about it. And that's where I'm at. So yeah, that's really what kicked it off, is just a short-term goal that I want to get. Also with that mindset now that I've learned more about, actually don't just think about the next 2 years, think about the next 10, 15, 20 plus.
It's amazing. This is why I wanted to start these videos, because everyone that I speak to have such different sort of paths and reasons to reach it. But ultimately, we're all going towards the same end goal, you know, which I find quite incredible, actually. I'm going to put in another question I hadn't actually wrote down, but your answer led me to it. So you said like you visited the library and stuff. Was there any particular resources that you found really helpful?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a funny story actually. The very first book I picked up in the library was like, it was like a Which Best Buy type review book, and it was just all about like bank accounts and that. So it probably is the most boring book you could find in your life. going. But I was like, well, you know, it's all about the sort of hardcore facts of what things are and that. So I thought, well, I'll dive in the deep end. It ain't an entertaining read, but that's where I started. I think I picked up like one from 2017, and it started to talk about the differences between like funds, shares, ordinary shares, and portions and profits, and it just like I said, it ain't a fun read, but it's definitely value added reading through that.
Yeah.
That led me onto YouTube as well, because it's great to hear and see like first-hand experience of how other people are doing it as well. Book-wise, I've just started reading some really good books now, like Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
That's a really great one. It's got some really like great philosophy behind it. And another one as well, which is by Napoleon Hill, which is Think and Grow Rich, which is more of a recent one I've just started as well. And yeah, it's just sort of like I sort of bit into a little bit of it, and ever since I've done that, it's just grown and grown and grown. I'm like, okay, I'm more interested in just getting deeper and deeper into the subject. So yeah, a couple of books, some probably not some bestsellers, but
no, to be honest, like the Napoleon Hill book is one of the all-time greats that you go on any sort of finance Facebook page and ask what book, that one will come up. Another one that I always sing and dance about is A Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I think that's a truly incredible book too, and if you haven't read it, I'd highly, highly recommend it. That was the one book for me that really, I think we all have that light bulb moment, you know, and that was my light bulb moment.
Parents laugh because, like, I mean, as a kid, I never read books. Like, my parents would be laughing at this. Like, do you know what I mean? They just be like, you never read one book. I think, in truth be told, Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the first ones I actually went all the way through in quite a short amount of time. I was like, actually, no. This is it for me.
So my next question I had was, why did you decide to pursue financial freedom? I know we've sort of covered that already, so this might be a bit of a shorter answer. I know you've already mentioned the travel side of things. Was there anything else?
So yeah, it's kind of a strange one, really. It was like I sort of put myself in that I'm kind of am pursuing it, kind of not. I mean, I've got my short-term goals, which are very much adverse to the whole FI concept, really, because it's about sticking the work up front, you know, saving that money, investing it. And here I am being like, hey, 2 years, I want to bugger off and go traveling. But what it is more for me actually is like I sort of found myself doing all those kind of actions that are necessary for FI, like saving, investing, understanding, you know, looking around for the best bank accounts. Like I said, budgeting for myself as well. I spent a lot of time recently looking at how I can cut down expenses, and sort of mindset as well. Just looking at like, right, actually, before I go and buy something, I think about it twice. Do I really need it? So it's all these little things that kind of, I suppose, constitute FI. I haven't really thought, hey, I'm going for FI, but here I am kind of on that road anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a strange way, doing all the right things in my mind. I mean, like, I've learned so much in the last 6 months. I've got such a long way to go. Yeah, wouldn't have, like, it was not, like I said, day one was never, I'm going for FI, but here I am. So.
Yeah, you made a really valid point that because we're on this journey, it doesn't mean we're not buying anything, we're not spending anything, you know. Like, obviously, that's the great thing about it. It just makes you think about it, you know. Like, I'm a keen PlayStation enthusiast and I like racing simulators. And I recently spent quite a bit of money on this full racing simulator. So it's not like I restrict what I buy and I can't have these treats. But instead I thought, am I going to get value from it, you know? And you're so right. You can decide whether or not it's going to add value to your life or not. I know it ultimately it's a toy, but especially during lockdown, I've literally got hours of value from that chair and that setup. The second point I wanted to add to what you just said has completely slipped my mind, so we'll go on to the next question. What were you like before you discovered it? So what I mean by that, before you come across financial independence, were you already frugal? Were you a big spender?
Yeah, I'd say like generally throughout life, like I've been pretty good with money as a whole. So in terms of bills and that, I mean, like when I was young, obviously, like when all teenagers, you get your first mobile phone and you got your friends that missed the odd payment here or there, but I was always pretty good at that kind of thing. And like today, you know, even up to where I am now, maintain all my payments, hit them on a regular basis, and that, and you know, never missed anything apart from one, which was down to an accident of me moving and not updating an address. My fault, but that happens. But yeah, generally been pretty good with, like I said, just making sure I hit that on time. But having said that, I also sort of have a bit of an attitude, or certainly previous to this, of I don't care what I buy, I just buy it. If I've got the money, I'll buy it. That also led me to, I think, when I was 21, me and my best mate deciding, right, when we're 21, that big magic number, we're going to go to America. We're going to go have like a 3 weeks sort of lads tour out there, which we did. But that all went on credit card. Like, I just didn't care. Do you know what I mean? That was, yeah, do you know what? I've got to do it because I am 21, and it's that sort of young kind of like mentality. And I totally recommend it. You know, there's a whole principle of you only live once, or whatever they say. You know, yeah, there is a reality to it, which is you just got to get out there and kind of do it. But then what that does sort of make you realise is actually 3 years down the line, you're still paying for it. It makes you think a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also been really lucky in the job that I've got. I got an apprenticeship when I was leaving sixth form in an aerospace company. I did 3 years on that. In fairness, I've come out the other side. I'm still working for them now, I think. And yeah, I come out, I've been really lucky with the wage I've got out of them. It's been really good. But unfortunately, where I've had access to probably more money than someone of my age at that time, I've also spent it. And, I did the silly thing, cliche thing, went and bought a BMW just because I was young enough and I had the access to the money. But yeah, I mean, that's all I just added to sort of the debt. And that really kind of, like I said, I built up a bit of debt. I think I peaked out around about 7K debt. And that was kind of at that point where I was a bit like, right, okay, it's been fun, but it's time to change.
Yeah. I speak about it sometimes, and I've mentioned it before. It's like lifestyle creep, isn't it? As you start earning more, you start thinking, oh, I can spend more, I can do more things, and you start getting more flamboyant. You start making bigger purchases. So next question I had was, what were the main changes you made to your life that helped you towards financial independence? So what would you say the main things you've done which have helped you a lot?
So I'd probably break these down into sort of 4 areas for me. First one being mindset. Like, that's the first one that it's probably the easiest and the hardest to change. It doesn't take anything up front. It just takes your willingness to do it. But yeah, mindset is definitely an important one because it's, like I said, I'm at that point now where everything I sort of buy, I do question it and I do sit on it for a good few days. Do I actually need it? Kind of almost annoyingly, I get down to the supermarket level and I'm like, do I actually need this? I'm like, this is food, Dan. Yes, you do. So, yeah, I have probably gone a bit more frugal down that route, which isn't necessarily such a bad thing. It's a happy balance in it. You can't be complete tight, that's it, I'm not spending any money. But yeah, I definitely think more. So mindset is one of the biggest things that I feel like I've changed for the better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, without being too I can't spend a penny. Yep. At all. Second one, living within my means, but I mean well within my means now. So like I said, I'd earn 100% of the paycheck and I'd spend 100% of the paycheck all in the same month. Now I've been looking very much at right, actually I want to claw as much of that back into savings first off, followed by investing, and followed by a little bit of shares and investing as well. So like yourself, I mean, I break my sort of savings investments down to, like I said, the first component being savings, second component being the index funds, and then the third component just at the moment playing with stocks and shares and just trying to understand it. So yeah, sort of break my money down in that respect. So yeah, living within my means is something I'm trying to sort of grow out and cut those bills where I can. And just claw back as much as I can. Not like I said, not being greedy or selfish or anything like that about it, but just realize that you want to hit those goals. That's what you've got to do. Mm-hmm. You've got to put the work in. Financial tracking as well, something that I know that's probably how you'd label it, but I mean, once a month I'm on the computer. Sorry, not once a month, once a week I'm on the computer. I'm on my spreadsheet. I've got a little spreadsheet made up, and I track all my bills, my income, everything, and it's by no means an exciting thing to do. It's really not. But what it does do for you is it makes you think twice about all the bills that you have got, and you sort of question, do I actually need that? Yeah. Is that something I'm just paying for? I mean, the classic example was more recent one. I had a mobile phone contract and it was £34 a month. And I was when I signed up for it, it was £20 a month. Recognised £10 came from a Spotify bolt on, which, okay, yeah, I want and I use. I was where did that other £4 come from? And it came from some bolt on I added 6 months ago that I've never used. So I was right, get rid of that for a start. Yeah. So it's just about looking at, the different things that you do already have in terms of expenses, but also looking at those sort of when you're going through your bank statement on a weekly basis, you sometimes get that unexpected cost and it does make you question it. So there are benefits to it. Like I said, it's by no means a fun chore to do, but it's certainly one that really opens your eyes to how much money's going in and out of your account. Yeah, and makes you question it twice because it's so easy to just sit back and let the bank do its statement and sit back and watch that money roll out. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest with you, and this is coming from someone that didn't have an interest with this sort of stuff, I do quite enjoy watching it all, and like you said, it's the analytical side of things, isn't it? You realise if I just do this little thing, in the long run, this is going to make this sort of difference, which is quite fascinating, really. And sorry, I interrupted. You're on to your fourth point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My fourth point. Yeah, which is the investing side now, which is probably the biggest thing I've changed. Like I said, looking at the index funds, looking at the stocks and shares. There's all the different components that make up investing. It can be anything down to, even artwork and buying that. It's all very subjective, but yeah, there's so many different components to investing and putting your money to sort of a perspective of growth. But yeah, those really for me are the sort of 4 main things that certainly in the last 6 months I've picked up and I run with, and just trying to really see where I go with that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're a Vanguard fanboy like me, aren't you? I think we're both big Vanguard fans. Right, next question I had wrote down. What are your main aims for the next 10 years? So we've already briefly mentioned that, but let's go through it again.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So yeah, like I covered, so the next 2 years, really for me are about sort of knuckling down with the savings, carrying on removing expenses where I can. Like I said, not being like completely overly tight with it, but just really assessing, making sure that everything's in line to work towards my goals. Growing income sources. In fact, catching on one of your videos I watched the other day, which is a brilliant one, like I think it was your top 10 income sources.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, that kind of thing, like I like that kind of thing. So yeah, looking into that more, and sort of hopefully what I'm trying to get to a stage of is getting a business going within the next 2 years as well. So I'd like to, I know at some point in my life I'm gonna hit that point where I want to do a business. Why not now? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the first 2 years for me. Then obviously I spoke about going traveling and doing the YouTube side of it, taking that with me, just because for me, it's a really sort of good way to help with personal development as far as I can see from an outside perspective. Get outside your comfort zone, be in a foreign country, take on a new challenge of life that isn't so much the day-to-day 9 to 5 work and home, that kind of thing. And then yeah, I suppose coming back from that, saving to buy a house like most people, and just carrying on with this really, but just continuing to sort of invest and sort of sharpen my skills with FI and learn as I go. And yeah, just help those around me as well, friends, family, and that as well, because this is something that I feel like I discovered by chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to really sort of help share that with people on YouTube, my friends, my family, colleagues, So ultimately, I think it's a good thing that everyone can do.
Yeah.
I don't really see a limit to it.
I relate to you completely. Like when I first found this, I was becoming a little bit mad about it. I was going around telling everyone, and you realise that people aren't as interested as we are, And I think that was the exact reason I started my YouTube channel. So now, if someone is interested, they can come and watch this video, because I could see how it would change their life and how they could be that much better off if they just made these decisions now. Like there was that index fund video I made recently. If you start investing £64 at 18 years old, by the time you reach pension age, you've got over £1 million, from 60 quid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know about you, but when I was 18 years old, I could easily spend £60 in a night, and I'm embarrassed to admit that.
I'm saying the same now, actually. I'd like to say, I've changed that, but actually, I know my friends would call me out fast enough and be like, no, he still does it.
Do you mind me asking where you're thinking of going travelling, just being a keen traveller myself?
So yeah, me and my girlfriend had conversations about it. We're sort of predominantly looking to head towards Asia to start with. Again, I know that's pretty cliche, but hey, why not dive into the deep end? And it's a completely different and opposite culture in many ways. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Although with the sort of recent global pandemic and all that kind of thing that's going on, it's perhaps putting some dampeners on some plans. I'm hoping it's in 2 years, but some countries may be safe to go to, maybe not. It's really hard to say with that side of it, but yeah, we've also considered just starting sort of more locally, as it were, looking at Europe and go from there. But yeah, in terms of limits to that plan, we'd like to go as many places as we can, really, experience as many different cultures. There's no set plan, because that's part of the thing about traveling, really, is sort of kind of throwing the plan out the window and going, let's go there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next up, I had, where do you think you are still lacking, or where you still need some improvement towards your journey towards financial independence? Obviously, cutting down your nights out with the lads seems to be one.
Yeah, I've been working on that side of it. But yeah, I suppose more probably the income growth side of it. I realised, like I said, I've been working pretty hard on the cutting down the expenses side, being a bit more lean on that front. But now, yeah, just looking at sort of the income growth and the business element. I've been on a couple of courses, read a few books, trying to sort of make all the right moves, and sort of reaching out to the relevant people as well, including yourself, about how these people doing it as well. So yeah, that's one aspect that I want to look at, really, is the income growth side and the business side. General learning of the subjects as well, just something I'm going to carry on learning about and researching. Just keep hitting up YouTube videos and checking out what different people are doing, because like you said, everyone's got a different path and way of doing it. Consistency on that mindset as well, that's probably one of the biggest things as well. Just there are some days where it's just easy to start thinking, actually, is it worth doing? But that's just when you need to stand up and realize that actually goals in life are going to be hard to get to, and you're going to have hard days. So those are the kind of things, I suppose, that I'm just going to keep working on, looking to improve. Like I said, that side of it really is just, I feel like I've got the motivation for it, just need to keep pushing through it.
Yeah, definitely. And then the final question I had for you, which is a bit of a deep one. What are the 3 tips you would give your younger self if you could tell him right now?
Quite a few of them, yeah. Don't buy a BMW 1 Series with no service. Probably one of the worst decisions I've made. No, actually, being honest, where I talk about say getting a credit card and going on holiday with my mate when I was 21, buying that car, you know, all within your means and capability, or well, certainly with my credit limit means. I wouldn't ever change that. I'd actually say do that, and do that as young as you can possibly do it, because hopefully you'll learn a lot faster that actually that wasn't such a great move. So yeah, I don't regret any of those things I ever did in the past. I'd just say do it as early as you can, get a bit of debt. Everyone needs to get exposed to it to understand that feeling of actually it's kind of horrible having to give out your overtime essentially to pay off the debt or whatever you're doing, you know, to recover yourself from it. So yeah, I'd say debt is, in a strange kind of way, a good thing to have upfront and early. Obviously, sensibly, you know, if you're going to rack up a credit card of 500,000, then fair play, but you're going to regret that for a long time. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing. Yeah, like I said, it's necessary to make those mistakes. Just do them as early as you can, and just learn from them. That's the important thing. The second one for me is surrounding yourself with those that are kind of on the same mission as you. I mean, that's kind of this relates to a phrase or something I see on the internet or whatever, but it's a really good sort of mindset attitude. And that's not to say that the people I've been around over the past 6 months or the past 15 years or anything like that have been bad people by any means. It's what that is for me is that I've not actually reached out to the relevant people, to the people that I want to surround myself with, like yourself, for example, you know, people that have that same objective. Because no one's going to come to you at the end of the day. You can sit there and think about it all you like, but no one's going to come to you and be like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. I mean, maybe if you're very lucky, maybe you have a parent, friend or whatever that is on that subject matter and try and hack into you and get you to do it. But yeah, for me, it's about actually stand outside of my comfort zone, reach out to those people that I kind of want to surround myself with on that front. And finally, just take lessons in money as early as you can, because they're not on the school agenda. No one's going to teach you about it. No one, like I said, is going to come to you about it unless you're very lucky that, like I said, you've got parents or friends, family that are interested in this kind of subject. So yeah, just get on with those lessons and learn them as early as you can, because actually it affects so much of our life, and it's so important to really understand how to manage money. And it's so easy to get carried away with credit and retail finance and all that kind of things. Yeah, hit them lessons as soon as you can.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, to be honest with you, that would, from everything we've spoken about, that's probably the most important bit. Just start as soon as you possibly can. It's going to make you in a lot better place. You know, every tiny change we make is making a difference, you know, in the long run. Yes. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the channel.
No, thank you.
You're the first ever guest on Free Your Finance, hopefully the first of many. And we've already, just to give it away, we've already got a few more ideas of different videos, haven't we? Hopefully, maybe you'll even have me on your channel too. I'd love to come and visit your channel. Like I said, I'm going to tag Dan's channel in the description of this video. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I actually had a load more questions for Dan, but I didn't want the video to run on too long. So maybe there may even be a part 2 if Dan will agree.
I'm all up for it, mate. I'm all up for it.
Fantastic. So for now, don't forget to go and check out Dan's channel, subscribe to him, watch out for his new videos coming out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel too, and hopefully we'll both see you very soon. Take care, Dan.
Cheers.